good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. I am Richie. This is Six String Fun. Some more Rush riffs. Gonna go to one of the more recent, if we'll call it that. I mean, recent going back to, I think it was 2007. Snakes and Arrows, I believe it was the opening tune, Far Cry. Nice, heavy, kind of coming on that E5, right? Just like Working Man. So, it was definitely a strange album for me. A lot of different things happening on that. Doesn't mean it wasn't a good album. I really enjoyed a lot of it. But, this one, loved hearing on the album, loved hearing live as well. So, there's a couple different ways I'll show you how to. We're going to do the intro. We're going to do everything up to the beginning of the first verse. So there's a couple different parts of it. There's the open, right? And then you got the hemisphere chord that kind of bridges the next section. You got the riff. And then you kind of have another bridge part, which is just really a C chord. And then this riff going into the chorus, basically, which actually, the riff going into the verse, which actually is the same riff, I think, played over the verse. So I'm going to walk you through that, but again, if you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, hit the bell. If there's any other Rush tunes you want to hear, any tunes in general. I mean, Rush is a big influence on me, so I love playing these tunes and just, snippets of the song, because I think some of these riffs are fantastic. So I'll share that with you. But let me know, like, subscribe, hit the bell. But let's jump into this one. We're going to do Far Cry off the Snakes and Arrows album. Let's get into it, all right? So it starts off, number one, so there's two parts to this intro to the intro, basically. That E5, right? So simple enough for just one chord, right? And I'm going to show you a couple different ways we can play this, but we'll get into that later as far as how to fret this chord, because this chord, you need to get into position for the hemispheres chord, that F sharp suspended. Okay, but we'll get into that. What we need to do is we actually have to go over that odd time signature opening. So it's like a math problem. It really is, right? So one chord, so whatever you feel comfortable with for the time being to learn that part of it. We can play the E5, we can play the E like this, we could even play the E like this, and I'll show you why we do this one in a little bit, okay? Up to you though. But this is like a math equation, okay? There's triples, there's singles, and doubles all playing this one. So the first part of the intro is it's going to be a 3 plus 1. That's how I've broken this down so I can remember it. That's the first part. Second part is the same thing, but we're adding another one to that. So again, triple single and then a triple double. Okay, so the intro is 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. We're going to repeat that second phrase again, but a little bit quicker. Okay, so again, the first part, 1, 2, 3, 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. You're doubling it, but you're just going to play it a little bit quicker this time. And now we're going to flip-flop the 1s and the 3s. So, and then we're going to go 1, 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 1, 2, 3. So you're going to need to rewind this a couple times, but it's all about just counting and memorizing the hits. That's all it is. So again, 1, 2, 3. So that takes some time, but once you can figure that out, but again, it's either 3 and 1, 3 and 2, or 1 and 3, basically. But when we come out of this E5, the transition is this chord. Okay? You even hear Alex Lifeson talk about this. I think there's that documentary I'm making of Snakes and Arrows. He even refers to it as the hemispheres chord. I believe he did anyway. Okay? So it's... listen to the tune, okay? So, but how do you get yourself into position to play this chord? Well, you can cheat. You can just play the E chord and then just slide up a whole step, 2 frets basically. You won't be playing that bass note, but I don't think it matters if you can't do it. At least you're getting the open strings and the rest of the chord in there. Okay? You can just play like this and then just come in and fret it. Or you can cheat this way, and then cheat not in a bad way, just how you're positioning yourself. Just play the E this way, so that way you've got your index finger ready to bar. And there you go. All right, so the chord itself is easy. I think the transition is easy. It's just learning those hits, okay? So that's the first part of the intro. Second part coming out of this is that heavy riff. Right? So it's very synchronized in a way where you're kind of playing the same thing, but just changing one note as you go along. So we're going to start on this, the F sharp, right? So all this is going to be on the 6th string except for one note, which will be on the 5th string, and we'll get to that. So everything here: 2, open, 2, 4. So again, it's kind of, once you get into the riff here, it's just going to be a matter of repeating and then just kind of bringing in this 3rd note, the C on the 5th string here on the 3rd fret. So I'll play it slow. We go to this one. Okay, so just find the vibe for that. So, on, off, on. So really the way this figure goes, it's right, and then you're going to go to the 4th fret. 3rd fret on the 5th. And then there's two chord progressions here. An E, and we repeat the chord, this riff again. And we change up the chord progression. So those two progressions are going to be this: an E to a C. That's the first time. Second time it's going to be D to the E to an A. And you repeat the riff again. E, C. And then we go to the D, E, A. Okay? You repeat that 2 or 3 times. It's gonna, well, listen to it. You'll hear it's not going to be exactly the same amount of time you're playing each thing, but you'll hear it. But those are the 2 pieces of it. And then we're going to come into, and then we have this transition. Just play a C chord, and you're going to hit the root, which is the let me get this. Sunday morning. Give me a break. 5th fret on the 5th, excuse me, 3rd fret on the 5th string, and then we're going to go down just the first 3 notes. So, and then we repeat just hitting that root note one more time, and then we're going to release that finger and play that note open. So it's going to be the, okay, that sounds familiar. There's actually another tune on Snakes and Arrows that has that same riff. So it's, all right, so again, your notes, you're going to basically play a C chord, and then it's going to be the 5th string, 4th string, 3rd string. That's all you're playing on this riff. So it's, all right, and then we go into the riff that is played really over the verse, but it kind of just transitions us into the verse. And all it is basically one note with kind of a hammer to a second note occasionally. 4th string, 2nd fret, and the 3rd fret. Okay, I'm kind of giving it a little bit of pinch harmonic as well. And Alex Lifeson, I think, does that a lot on the live stuff here. He's really kind of accenting the harmonic. And all I'm doing is I'm playing the 2nd fret on the 4th string, and that change, all I'm doing is hammering to the 3rd fret. So I'm just playing those 2 notes. All right. So that transition will be. All right, and then the hit is on the E5. All right, now the E5 or the E I find very interesting because I think there's several ways you can do this. I hear it differently every time I hear either a live track or the studio version. I leave it up to you. You can E5 it, just regular power chord. You can play the open E. I sometimes hear this big E5. I sometimes hear that especially on the live recordings, to kind of give it a fatter sound. So, but that's really it. That's the intro. I will go over the rest of the song at some point. I just don't have it, for you right now. This is more just kind of a riff to the intro to the tune. But again, right. So that's kind of the pre-chorus, and I'll give you the chorus right here. It's E, D, A5, back to the E, D. There's your F suspended again, F sharp. Repeat it. And I believe there's a hit. And that's kind of the bones of the song, basically. But we'll go over that another time. I just wanted to give you the riff, but again, you can see there's more, more to it. Not a whole lot more to it, but it's doable. I really find this as a much friendlier tune to play if you're a guitar player. Even if you're looking to kind of do a Rush song live in your band, I think this one works really well. It's very heavy, and it works. But hopefully you enjoyed it. Any questions, comments below? You know the drill. Do all that. But be on the lookout. The rest of the song will be coming out at some point. I don't know when. I just have to get to it. But it's there. It's pretty cool. Heavy. I like it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'll see you on the next one. Later.